Hi everybody, Graham here, POCGamer, and welcome to the weekly map stream, or welcome back if you've watched this before. So last week I made a map in 90 minutes. This week I'm going to make it pretty in 60. Um, yeah, lots of changes going on. So this is my first attempt at a multi-stream operation. So I'm actually streaming this live to my Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all at the same time. No idea how that's working out. Going to find out at the end. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining me on a weekday afternoon. And please remember to like and subscribe, whether you're over on Twitch, YouTube, or on Facebook. And if you like what I'm doing and like what you see, please don't hesitate to support me on Coffee or Patreon. Now, digging into what we're doing today, gonna have a lot of fun. I had a blast making this map the other week. So much so that I'm coming back to it to make it look prettier because this 90-minute map deserves some more attention. And this is something that very much will happen when you are running games. You'll create somewhere quick that you think is going to be used for maybe one session, maybe two, and all of a sudden you're getting tons of interest in it from your players. Your players are all like, "Oh, we want to watch this. Oh, we want to play this. We want to stay in this village for some reason." And as a GM, DM, storyteller, now you've got this village that you made, and you've got to come up with some more details on it. So let's get into it. So when we last left off, we had finished up. So here, make this hit the screen. There we go. When we finished up last week, we had this nice lake area up here. We had three little gatehouses, sort of a semi-fortified village. We had this little market space right there. We had a temple. We had some boathouses, some nice docks, all sorts of stuff. And so this week we're going to be cleaning up some stuff, enhancing a few other things, and generally trying to make this place look both more lived in and interesting, and give something a little bit more for the players. And we're going to start by making use of this drawbridge right here. So let's see here. Get this, subtract, squiggle, yeah, three, smaller. So when you have a nice drawbridge like that, generally you won't find those sorts of things on just out on the land. It's not how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a stream coming down through here by the hill, bring it in front underneath that bridge, and then bring it up over here. So let's do this. There we go. So now we have a reason for the drawbridge and a nice looking little separation from this area up here. Okay, it comes out into there, and this is already a swampy area, so I don't think we need to do too much to make it look like we don't need to add any sort of delta feature or anything like that to it. That should be pretty good for there. So we're going to zoom in, and here, there we go. Yeah, I thought so. Come to foreground. So we're just gonna. Oh, I definitely need to make that. Just that down so it has maximum squiggle. So what we're doing here is we're just showing that sort of there's a difference between the grassy area out front and the what's presented, and we're gonna extend this area out here because normally they'll have a waiting area for people to enter to a village. Like this, especially where you have a gate. And we'll come over to stamps and open catalog, tent. Well, that's a nice little selection of tents. Let's go up to 150 for that. Zoom in. Set up some tents outside. There we go. Then we can throw like some. Well, let's see if they have any catalog here. Horse. Nope. Animal. Helps if I spell it right, I guess. Livestock. Let's scan down through here. Yeah, that's okay. Clipping masks. Nice. All right. Well, let's get back to. So now we've set up a little tent area there. Everyone, oh, nice. Got some people watching on Twitch. That's cool. It's been a while since Twitch has been live for me. Guess it's good to know this is working. Okay, so that's all good. That's good. Okay, so let's come in here. Here's sort of for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of make a little bit of a mess of things here. But after I'm done making a mess of things, I'll go back over it with that that color. Actually, you know what? I'll just do this whole area. Here we go. So what I'm trying to do here is make it a little bit more clear. There's like a defined road, then there's some side of the road area. Like this new route. The goal here is to try to make the roads look, or the laneways, whatever you want to call them, make them look a little bit more organic to the location. We're gonna keep that sort of sprawl that's going on, but there we go. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna move that little bush. Right there. There we go. Move this up a layer. There we go. Back. This is another thing that'll you'll notice happening. I'll have to clean up that border there. This is another thing you'll notice happening as you make more maps and do that sort of thing. Is you'll go back to them and you'll see that you made not errors, but like things that you're just not 100% happy with, and so you just go back and do a little tidy up, get everything looking a little better, a little more uniform. If that's one of the goals there. Oh. And it's just reality. Like I've never met anybody who works with maps, whether it be fantasy cartography or GIS, um, like in my old job, where they'll create a map and be 100% happy with the end result. Because there's always something more. There's always some little detail um, that you missed or whatever, and you realize, like, oh, I should have got that, should have caught that in the last draft or something like that, and it's fine. Because in most instances, especially if it's for your own use or for your own projects, you could always come back to it and repair it later. You know, or there's other scenarios that you'll run into where the customer simply wants something that doesn't leave you happy, but it's what they want, and so that's what you provide to them. That's getting more into the business end of things, and I'm not here to talk about that today. We are here to have fun making this map look nicer. Depending on how things go with this map, what I may do for the next stream is we will do a map expansion. And if you're wondering But Graham, what about that world or that whole world you were working on? No worries, there's a plan in place for that. I'm going to be doing that announcement, full announcement later. But basically, I realized that most people probably don't want to watch me go through the process of labeling an entire world map. It's not exactly gripping stuff, and after you've watched it once, you've pretty much got the grasp of what's going to be happening for the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to um, finish labeling that on my own time, and I'll keep track of how many hours that takes. Needs to keep the hour count honest, and then come back with some finishing touches. But there'll be a slightly more detailed explanation for that and some future mapping things because people seem to enjoy watching maps getting made. So, and I enjoy making maps. I'm also pretty sure that my various Patreon and coffee supporters will enjoy getting these maps in their final form via the Discord in the dive bin of free stuff. Let's see here. So the trick with beautification and making an existing map look better is just to sort of think about the things that you think would improve the overall looks. Let's see, you made a lot of changes because you're saving work. That is a good piece of advice. Hit that save button. There's over 200 changes, so yeah. As I was saying, so the modifications you're going to want to make are things like quality of life changes, little visual improvements, and slightly tweak things like how buildings are laid out. Don't do a massive change though, especially if um, you've already had a bunch of events happen with the existing layout, because that can lead to confusion amongst players who'll be like, well, wasn't this next door to blah 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 last week? And then you're like, oh well, yeah, but I changed it, and because that could throw like whole plans into disarray. Well, of course, that's also part of your plan. It's also very possible to have a village with unstable topography and unstable geometry, as they would say in the SCP world. So, but that's something we can explore a different day. That's a little outside of our scope today. That's also very fun. That's a lot of fun for running haunted games or games involving supernatural elements outside of the usual, like magic and so on and so forth. When you really want the players to be wondering what's going on. See, so this is one of those things where I was talking about like little quality of life changes. So you've got this big thing of hay right here. And originally I sort of had the path coming down with a little dog leg. But that doesn't really make sense. It's not how people walk, because people are going to start doing a bunch of stuff here and then walking up and around. They're not going to try to like skirt between these things. So this just makes that space look a little bit more how people would use it. And actually, a lot of my inspiration for how I lay out for unplanned locations like this village where there's no like central planning authority saying, oh, we're going to set up a grid system, all that sort of stuff. A big influence on my life was this book called The 3 Meter Zone, and it was a military leadership book. But in it, this former command sergeant major gives an anecdote about how when he was finally, a base sergeant major, a big project came up where they were going to put in new walkways and new paths for soldiers to follow to get around to places. And the immediate knee-jerk reaction that everybody had was to just make sidewalks and just call it a day. But then he decided to do a little bit of an experiment, and instead he gave the soldiers leave to walk on the grass, which, if anyone watching now or later as in the military, you'll know that walking on the grass is, verboten. And just about every military base that I've ever been on. If it's not a sports field and you're not playing sports, you're not walking on the grass. Well, he gave all these soldiers leave to walk on the grass because he wanted to see where all the trails would be. And so after a year, they went out, they looked, they found all the largest, most prominent trails, and that's what they paved and turned into footpaths. And if you look at maps of old villages and stuff like that, and the earliest parts of cities in antiquity and so on, a lot of it follows that same sort of logic. It's not following, a natural or a grid system or something like that. It's following a natural paths of least resistance, quickest distance between 2 points, all that sort of thing. All right, so let's take a look at this. So far so good. We're gonna come up here and visit this area by these boathouses next. But what we've done now is we have, let's widen this out a little bit more. That's supposed to be a main route. There we are. So what we have now is basically we have the soil matching, which was an issue that was happening prior to with the original map, was that we had a few different shades of brown going on, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but things work a little better if you've got a little bit more rhyme and reason to it. So now we've got our soil textures are all matching. We've more or less got stuff where we want it to. So now I'm going to go back to that brick one, and we're going to lay out our square. Okay, so this is coming down here. So two. Hmm. Okay, so this is locking into a grid I can't see. That's okay. Let's switch to a square. That's a little better. Now we'll go back to this. So one thing with cobbles is they tend to be pretty precious. People aren't going to spend a ton of time putting bricks or putting them where they don't need to be. So this area here is going to be all done. It's going to lead through the village and out, kind of like a main road. There we go. And then come along the edges. Give it sort of that softer, more random edge. coming down here. Our main road coming out of town. Or into town, if they're coming from that direction. Nice, nice. Let's see if they have any nicer stone to work with here. Oh, I've got to fix those crops too. Right, right. Hmm. Watercolor paper towel? What the? I don't even know what that is. What that would be? Okay, so let's fix up. We had some issues down here. There we go. Nice, nice. Hmm. Small debris. Hmm. It's got city tiles. What's that look like? Oh yeah. Oh, that looks nice. Perfect. So stuff like city tiles, that's great for creating really making it look like this place is extra fancy. So I'm actually gonna add that again. Use that square tool. See how it's tiles. Oh, so that must be the space one square occupies. Okay. Zoom way in. There we go. Oh boy, spam from YouTube. All right, just hold up a moment here. I'm just gonna see if I can solve that right quick and in a hurry. Because you know what? Nobody enjoys getting spam like that. Sorry, if you're not watching on YouTube, there's a bot. There's a bot spamming some nonsense into my stream here. That's not cool. Hmm. Nice. It's always fun when people are lurking. Let's see here. Do a little bit of moderation. Do, 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 do. And remove. There we go. All right. Let's deal with that nonsense. Yeah, who does that? This is clearly a very nerdy stream happening. Let's hit that save button again. Hey, thank you for joining us. All right, 100% save. Good to go. There we are. Oh, well, thank you very much. It is a nice hat. It's very comfortable. Why am I streaming so late? We had holiday errands to run this morning, and we just got. I'm in British Columbia. I'm not on the coast, thankfully, but I am in the interior. We had a big dump of snow over the last few days and really low temperatures, so the roads are like skating rinks, and we wanted to go out and get our errands done in between the morning rush and lunchtime, just to avoid traffic, because yeah, there's a lot of cars like sliding all over the roads right now. It's a really rough go, and like I said, like we're in the interior of BC, so we aren't in a similar situation to Vancouver where they don't expect to have a ton of snow every year. We expect to have some, but um, we got a bunch of snow and the cold temperatures, so it's just bad. Like all the roads are they're skating rinks right now. Okay, so I like how that's looking. So we've got a bit more of a natural effect going on here. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put those tiles up here as well. So the tiles are going to look better. Let's erase those rocks there. this. Shrink it down. There we go. So you can see how when you make the tool like as small as possible, lets you tidy up these edges here. Ends up looking pretty sharp. And in this case, it also communicates out, oh, hey, like maybe this is something important we should be paying attention to. To your players. It's no guarantee your players will take the hint, but it's nice to think they would. There we go. Line those stairs up with it. All right. Like the people are dropping in them different chats. It's pretty fun. Yeah, so I guess the multi-stream is working. I'm seeing Twitch and YouTube flashing up in the chat, so that's pretty nice. Okay, yes, these guys. Okay. Sand. So see, when you zoom in, you can see where things didn't necessarily line up too great. There we go. Let's go to stamps. Let's see what sort of stuff I want to put some stuff out in the water here. All right. This won't look good. Shrink that down to 100. These all have, looks like water's flowing by all of them. That's too bad. So those actually look pretty decent. They're just not right for what I'm looking for. Rope bridges, nice. Definitely gonna do a desert village at some point in the near future too. Hills, hills, hills. Details. Hedges, fences. Obelisk, nice. Where is it? Carts, cranes. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, carts. Yeah, we're definitely going to add a couple of carts down here. A few there. Carts. Open catalog. There's crane. I love cranes. A crane there. Nice. Let's see. How are we doing for time? Oh, yeah, I got 10 minutes left. Roots, trees. Oh, what's that? Oh, big mushrooms. Yeah, I don't need mushrooms. Got some guild buildings there. Oh, of course, it's all in the elf section. I want to make it haunted. And here we go, train. Cliffs, 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 cliffs. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's cool. They're all giant though, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not going to use that right now, but these are super handy to know these are available for the next village that I decided to work on because what those will do is those will give me a few more options to play with. Snow hills. Let's see here. Streamlines. Okay, well, let's get some waves going on. No, those look terrible. Let's not get some waves going on. That is, ugh. Now sometimes you get a little bit of trail on air going on. That's fine. That's what we're here to do. Hey, there's always space for a big rock or two. Let's bump those up to 150 though. So a really big rock. Throw a couple big rocks out there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look to fantasy battle maps. These will be where we'll find some, hopefully some critters we can throw down. Why are there hand puppets? That is terrifying. Nobody needs that in their lives. See what I got from Mark. Okay. See what I got. Fantasy Regional HD. I really love this Babylonian stuff. I think that's fantastic. Like for creating a three-dimensional. Yeah, definitely gonna be experimenting with that in the future. That stuff looks so cool. Holiday stuff, nice. Humanoids. Jungle mountains. Nothing really. Okay, that's fine. So placards. All right, so we got frames and labels. So these are kind of interesting. Let's So we're gonna go to fit screen. So what these are. See, this is sort of like your classic edges of a map. They're not always great, and as you can see, they've got some clipping issues with where they sit. But there was something handy there. So come down, and you can see they've got all these nice nice labels here. Winter frame box, horror frame box, elven frame box. You got some blank circles and stuff. This is for if you've got a lot of stuff going on in your map and you just want to throw numbers down. What you do is put these circles beside stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many objects you have, and then on like a secondary piece of paper or in a secondary text, you can label. Like okay, this is this, this is this. But I want to do something with that ocean area. So let's see what this thing looks like. Whoa. Oh, that is huge. Okay, so I like this. Let's drop it down to 150. Oh no, yeah, 130. That looked pretty good. And then what you do is come down here to text. So it's got a nice selection. It was so much nice. I love the fact they're adding more fonts. This is great. I also love this. Looks like something from a video game I would have played as a kid. That's fantastic as well. Hmm. We use Amarante. We call this place Balam Village. The nice thing is with the way text works here, so you can type in your text here, especially if you want to do something like this. Type in your text, you can do all your playing around with it, and then pretty much custom fit it for the application. So I'm going to go to size 40. Kind of center it in there. So this is Balam Village. Not the most creative name, but yeah, it works. Let's see if there's a compass we can throw on here as well. Let's go watercolor battle mat. Like a big arrow would be handy. I love those magic circles. It's cool. Parchment world, perhaps. Doesn't really match the. There we go. Might be able to make that work. And then what I can do is I can move down layers, basically put it at the very bottom. So now it's a -5, so it'll actually be underneath everything. So see, I can move it, it'll be underneath that. Oh, is there a way I could put this into the background? Ah, here we go, flatten to background. But now it is, so layers. It's kind of cool. But I need to move it around a little bit. So I'm going to hit Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. There we go. Throw that there, and we're going to lower its opacity. Opacity? Not sure how that's pronounced. Yeah. Survive. Alright, so that's done. And we're just going to come up here, text, N. Make it smaller. That the same. See here, zoom in here. Let's say, oh, just received an email with closed alpha on the playing character will field Pathfinder. Nice. Oh, that's going to be cool. Bring that right there. And I'm actually going to bring its opacity down just a bit more so it matches. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Move it up a little bit. There we are. And yeah, so we're going to hit that save button and we'll go through a review because I've got to go pick up my awesome daughter for Taekwondo in a few minutes. So it's time to wrap this up. We're not quite at 60 minutes, but you know what? It's pretty good. Pretty good for 60 minutes of clean up and tidy up. So what have we got done? Big things we did was we redid the village square here. and the main roadways so that they look more like natural roadways. So we've got dirt paths through the village itself and a nice like paved area for their market and the main throughway through the village. We threw out a little camping area up here at the north end of the village, just outside, where people can stay. Say there's a giant caravan, there's not enough space out here. People can stay out there in the tents. Um, did a little bit of matching with our soil features and soil colors, and yeah, threw a compass rose on at the north and named the place. Threw up a very cool looking, in my opinion, nameplate for it. Threw down some carts, which I'm realizing I'm just gonna rotate some of these around because nobody. There we go. Carts will just naturally sit like that. That's ridiculous. There, that's better. That will bother me less now. So back to fit screen, hit that save button again. Um, and yeah, then just like little tidy ups, like finding those little green patches up by the boat houses up here. Come on, there we go. So we found those little green patches, cleaned those up. Just a few other things. I'd like to do some changes around this maybe, but I'm not sure what to do with that yet. But overall, yeah, just tile down to make a couple of the buildings look extra fancy. And yeah, this is a good example of the sort of thing you can do in about 60 minutes of just like sort of general improvements and general work on a project. And I mean, we can keep going down, like getting right into the nuts and bolts of like all of this and try to make it work even more. But I'm pretty happy with how this is looking right now. There's a few things that I might change, a few things that I might tidy up a little bit more. But overall, this is looking really good, and I think this is now going to be a good candidate to get into expanding a map. So you burned those 90 minutes before last play session creating a map. You thought it was going to be a throwaway, but you wanted it to look nice. Now the players are using it as kind of a base of operations. So you're like, wow, okay, now I need to come up with stuff that's happening around this village, and so I think that's what we're going to get into next week. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Graham. You'll find me as POCGamer just about everywhere except for like Twitch where I'm Panzerline. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, although it's just automated posts there right now until that nonsense gets settled. Hive, all sorts of places like that. Please remember to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to my Patreon and Coffee supporters who make all this possible. And if you like what you're seeing, like what I'm doing, please consider supporting me on Coffee or Patreon. Have a great day and happy holidays to everybody.